Ugh, my lips are so chapped. Hi guys, my name is Tamara Chambers, and this is Tamara's Never Seen. Also, Ike is here. So last week I made a Twitter poll asking what I should watch, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off won. But coming in a close second was Groundhog Day, which I've also never seen. So that's what I'm doing today. I don't know anything about this film. I know that Bill Murray's in it, I know it's called Groundhog Day, and I know that Groundhog Day is February 2nd because my birthday is February 7th, and they're close. It's not important information, I just wanted everyone to know. Flip! There we go. I'm still recovering from this crazy sickness. Everyone is sick. Thank you for the well wishes. Are you ready to watch Groundhog Day? Yes, I am, Tamara. I love groundhogs. It's true, he does. He loves groundhogs. Here we go!
Tamara's Never Seen.
We both enjoyed that a lot more than we thought we were going to. Right? Right, Ike? Right. Yes, I feel the same way. Just so insightful. So Bill Murray is a weatherman, and he's a big old showman about it. Lots of showmanship in his weathering, which is the technical term. He's fun to watch, but you can tell that you probably wouldn't want to be his best friend or his lover. He's a little full of it. So him and his producer Rita and their camera guy are going to this small town called Pensatucky or Pensatucky or something with a pen in it. They're gonna go see Phil, who is the groundhog that predicts whether there's gonna be 6 more weeks of winter or not. I love that both of their names are Phil. Because he hates it. He does not want to go to this small town. This is his 4th year doing it. So they're on the road. They're in the car going to see Phil, the groundhog. And the producer's like, I think it's really nice. People like this. He's like, people like blood sausage too. It's ridiculous. Which I also kind of agree with. Blood sausage is ridiculous. I've only ever had like a small nibble of it because it freaks me out. It's like blood, right? Isn't it? It's just like curdled blood. I don't know if it's curdled or not. I don't even really know what curdled means. I just don't think I like it. That's how I am about all food that I don't like, though. I just haven't tried it. I moved to Chicago, and I told someone that I didn't like shrimp, and they were like, what are you talking about? You don't like shrimp? I was like, well, I've never tried it, but it freaks me out, because they're little bugs. And then they made me try one, and then I loved it. I'm totally pro shrimp now. So maybe that's the problem with blood sausage. This has gone way off topic. Let's get back to the story. So they arrive to the small town and he throws like a mini fit about where he's gonna stay. And Rita, the producer, is like, we got you a really nice bed and breakfast, cool your jets. And I mean, to be fair, he is the weatherman for a local news channel. Beyonce who? So he's just kind of treating everybody like crap. Like the owner of the bed and breakfast brings up the weather and he actually talks to her about weather, which is a pretty funny joke. And she's like, I was just trying to make small talk with you. He runs into Ned, who's an old high school friend, and he's the worst. Ned is so annoying. And then the whole Phil the Groundhog Day thing happens, decides there's gonna be 6 more weeks of winter. Then they get on the road to go back to Pittsburgh because he does not like it here. And then they get stuck in a blizzard that he said wasn't gonna happen. I feel like that would be such a cool job to have, being a weatherman. You just get to play like the goof of the team for the newscasters. But also, you're always wrong because you can't accurately predict weather 100% of the time. Cool job though, question mark, maybe? Secretly want to be a weatherman, a weather human, a weather cat. Do you want to be a little weather cat? No, I just kind of want to sleep, so stop touching my face. I said, so they get stuck in Puxatony or wherever it is. I have no idea what the name of the city is. So then he wakes up the next morning and of course, it's the same day. The day before, the bed and breakfast owner was like, are you gonna check out today? And he was like, yes, 100% chance of that happening. And for the second day, he's like, 80% chance of that happening. So then it's like the 3rd day, he finally tells Rita, she doesn't believe him. He goes to a doctor and a psychiatrist and no one believes him. So he goes to a bowling alley because next logical step, obviously. Then he comes to the realization that he can do anything and there are no consequences for them because the next day he'll just wake up. He goes on this giant like ruining spree of ruining the city in this car, and he gets pulled over and he doesn't care. And while I think that's an interesting realization to have, that's not what I would do with that information. I don't think I would just run into shit. But maybe out of like desperation, you're like, oh, this is the first thing I'll do. I don't know how many days I'll have, so tomorrow I'll do another thing. I don't know, what would I do? could you leave? Like, could you book a flight that morning? The whole thing is he's stuck in this bad town and this bad time. That's the whole thing. This is his worst day ever. But could you, like, I don't know, fly to a bunch of places and then regain all your wealth the next day? That would be cool. That's what I would want to do. He's finding fun in it. Like, the 4th day he wakes up, he sees Ned and he punches him out, which is super fun. And he's starting to play around with it. He just eats like a giant feast of like donuts and stuff. And Rita's like, what are you, you don't care about love handles? I'm like, well, not everyone cares about love handles, Rita. Then it branches out into women. He finds Nancy, who he just asks her information and then the next day uses that information. It's like, we went to high school together, don't you remember me? And uses that to have sex with her. So good for you, I guess. You have how many days? Does anyone ever specify how many days? Does anyone ever like count it up? Because you don't see them all. I wonder if it's like online somewhere how many days this actually is. That would be interesting to me. At this point, I'm getting to the part where I'm like, I don't like this character at all. I hope he doesn't get what he wants. It changes, don't get mad at me yet. But at this point, I'm not a fan of Phil. He steals a ton of money and buys a super fancy car, goes out on a date with another woman. I think in this scenario, I think it's totally super okay that you're gonna steal a ton of money. You know it's gonna be the same day tomorrow. I don't think that's bad. Steal away, man. Do anything you want. Like, don't murder. I can't think of really much else. Like, don't cause physical harm to people, which he doesn't at all. So this is the part where he starts going after Rita, who he apparently likes the most. I like this scenario where he gets to go on all these different dates, figure out what she likes, have the perfect date, finally get the gold, but it doesn't make sense in the long run. Even if you do start dating, even if the time does go back to normal, you don't actually like her, you like this like version of her, and she doesn't like you at all. Like, she likes this version of you, so dating isn't gonna, are you just gonna like try to have sex with her for like a job well done? And I also think it would be really hilarious if at the end she got to see the whole progression, see how many dates it took for you to finally snag it, just the whole process. I think that would be hilarious. That's when I thought this movie was going in that direction, to where he was just trying to like have sex with her and then it was gonna be like, we're together and it's done. But then quickly after, my concerns were addressed, so he makes it to her room finally one night and tells her that he loves her, and she's like, what? This is all too calculated. Is this what love is to you? And it's great. She totally calls him out on his shit. Then there's just a slap montage because he continues to try and she slaps him every date and it's awesome. Cool, I love that they address it. I didn't think I was gonna like where this was going and I really did. Stop judging things, Tamara, before you know what they are. All right, Tamara, I'm sorry. It's okay, girl. Don't be so hard on yourself. Then he hits the depression point that is inevitable in all of this. He steals the Groundhog. So Phil and Phil are on this high-speed adventure. Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry, buddy. He drives his car off of a cliff and dies, and realizes that he can die and still come back. And then there's this whole like suicide spree that he goes on. He kills himself in a bunch of different ways, which is darker than I thought this movie was gonna go into. And it was interesting and made sense, and I liked it. I liked it. And it was a good progression of where it was going. So he finally gets to a point where he is desperate enough to prove it to Rita that this is happening, and she believes him, and they spend a really nice day together, and she's like, I'm just gonna stay up with you, and then in the morning we'll see what happens. And she falls asleep, and he does this whole like declaration of love to her. He doesn't pull any moves on her, even though they sleep in the same bed, and it was nice. I was surprised. I kept being surprised during this movie about how much I liked it. I didn't think I was going to. I don't know why. I didn't. I didn't think I was gonna like it. It kept surprising me. So he decides to be kind and selfless. He's reading a lot. He's learning piano. That's what I would do. I would just learn a bunch of shit, learn a new instrument, learn a new language, just read my whole list of books that I want to read and don't have time to. Become a smarter and more learned individual. I would rent a lot of cats. I mean, Jesus, rent a lot of cats? I'm still so out of it. I would adopt a lot of cats every day. He kills Ned with kindness. Ned is like, I'm gonna go now. He saves this kid from a tree. He saves this guy from, with a Heimlich maneuver from choking. These women, they have a flat tire and he helps them. He like plays piano for this whole city-wide party, and Rita shows up and sees it And that is like the moment when you're like, oh, now they're gonna fall in love, but in the right way, in the cute movie way. Going back to real life after knowing every single thing that happens and being able to really help, it would just be such a trip. He's gonna seem like such a doofus after this. Then there's this part after they're on this date, because she bid on him, where he makes an ice sculpture of her face and she sees it and it's beautiful and she's like, that's incredible, how did you do it? And he goes, I know your face so well, I could have done it with my eyes closed. What a line! I was like, oh, okay. Well done, sir. I wonder how many days that took. Then he tells her that he loves her and the acting is really wonderful, and he's like, I'm just happy. Whatever happens tomorrow, I know it's gonna be okay because right now I'm happy. And it was the first time, I think, that it was just really nice. It was so nice, and she was like, I'm happy too. The spell has to be broken. Whatever's happening here has to be broken. And it is! They wake up the next morning and he's like, oh, this is different. She's like, good? And he's like, yes, anything different is good. And then they start kissing and she's like, where was this last night? You didn't do anything last night. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, I was tired. It was the end of a very long day. And that was a great line. I really didn't think I was gonna like him. And I love redeemed characters. This was such a cheesy, like early 90s, weird, wacky thing happening adventure film. And I super loved it. I loved it. Acting was great. Story was cute. I want to know how many days it was total. This surprised me in a wonderful way. So I put the poll up on Twitter. Groundhog Day was the one that got the most responses, like written though. People were like, I love Groundhog Day. Really, I just thought maybe it was like a sentimental, nostalgic thing. And I thought it was such a fun movie. But check out my own personal channel, Tamara Lynn Chambers, at youtube.com. I post there every Friday, so a new video went up yesterday. Ike, do you want to promote anything? Just too much to promote, so he just is a little overwhelmed. Hopefully next week I won't be sick. Thanks for all the well wishes, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.